Welcome to Car Comparos. Today we'll be comparing the Volkswagen Ameo with the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz. Pricing and features. The top-end Ameo Highline diesel costs 9.9 lakh rupees on road Delhi, which is 1 lakh rupees cheaper than the Ciaz ZDI Plus variant costing 10.9 lakhs. Both cars have a few unique features that are absent in the other. For example, the Ameo Highline has extra cornering lamps, cooled glove box, remote controlled window operation, passengers auto-up anti-pinch windows, cruise control, rain sensing wipers, and telescopic steering adjustment, while the Ciaz ZDI has leather upholstery, rear AC vents, rear sunshade, push button start and smart key, projector headlamps, and Apple CarPlay. Overall, the Ameo has slightly better feature content than the equivalent Ciaz. Performance and drivability. Ameo Petrol's performance is simply no match to that of the petrol Ciaz. Not only is the Ciaz more powerful than the Ameo, it is also a good 50 kgs lighter than the Ameo, giving it around 25% better power to weight and torque to weight ratio than the Ameo. Both cars feel equally lacking in terms of low-end torque, making them a chore to drive in city traffic. However, as the revs rise, the Ciaz opens up a huge lead over the Ameo. It has a potent mid-range as well as a decent top-end performance compared to the Ameo's asthmatic powertrain. Ameo's lack of refinement is also quite glaring when compared to the surprisingly silent. The Ameo turns the tables on the Ciaz when it comes to diesel power. Firstly, the Ameo has none of the turbo lag that the Ciaz suffers from, requiring far lesser gear rowing than the Ciaz during city commutes. Ameo has mind-blowing mid-range grunt, making it much easier to overtake heavy vehicles out on the highway than the Ciaz. The only caveat is Ameo's slightly vocal nature compared to Ciaz's amazingly well-sound deadened diesel mill. Fuel efficiency. The Ciaz petrol manual has an ARAI certified mileage of 20.7 kmpl, which is 2.9 kmpl more than the Ameo. Even the Ciaz automatic, having a conventional torque converter gearbox, which has traditionally been infamous for its lack of fuel efficiency, has an ARAI certified mileage of 19.1 kmpl, which is 1.3 kmpl more than the manual geared Ameo. In our back-to-back tests, the Ciaz manual was hardly 1 kmpl more efficient than the Ameo, and the Ciaz automatic was just as efficient as the Ameo manual. The diesel Ciaz, which is India's most fuel-efficient car, has an ARAI certified mileage of 28.1 kmpl, which is around 5 kmpl more than the Ameo diesel. However, in our real-world tests, the difference was less than 2 kmpl in favor of the Ciaz. Space and comfort. The Ciaz is half a meter longer in length as well as a tad bit wider than the Ameo. This has made the Ciaz's cabin far more roomier than the Ameo's. The Ciaz has copious amounts of legroom and knee room for the occupants to stretch their legs. But then, the Ameo also has adequate legroom and knee room for its occupants, just that it isn't as excessive as the Ciaz's. Crucially, the Ciaz has slightly better shoulder room, allowing for 3 adults to be comfortably seated at the back. The Ameo's rear seat is strictly for 2 occupants only, and squeezing in a third occupant can prove uncomfortably tight. The Ciaz also has an almost 200-liter bigger boot than the Ameo. However, the Ameo's boot itself is big enough for carrying 4 people's luggage or for the odd airport run. What it lacks in boot space, it makes up for by being far more maneuverable around town compared to the Ciaz. Handling and ride quality. Both cars have fantastic road manners, making them a joy to pilot around twisty roads. The Ameo has a slight edge over the Ciaz thanks to a better steering feel and feedback. However, the Ciaz is better suited to Indian road conditions thanks to slightly better ground clearance and bigger wheels. Ciaz has a much longer wheelbase than the Ameo, giving it noticeably better bump absorption and pliancy over potholes and speed humps. The Ameo has a slightly stiff low-speed ride, and you need to tread more cautiously over broken tarmac than you would in a Ciaz. Reliability and after-sales service. One area where Volkswagen has a long way to go before it gets anywhere near the levels of Maruti Suzuki is the product reliability and service support in our country. Firstly, Volkswagen's record at product reliability in our country has been quite poor, which has been further tarnished by the pathetic service support extended by its unestablished and arrogant dealers. Volkswagen's reach with its 120 odd outlets is also quite limited to urban areas compared to Maruti's 2000 plus outlets that have reached in every corner of the country. Resale and cost of ownership. The Ciaz is bound to depreciate much lesser than the Ameo over an ownership period of 5 to 7 years, thanks in no small measure to Maruti's legendary track record at providing a hassle-free ownership experience to its customers. Overall, the petrol-powered Ciaz ZXi Plus manual works out to be just 30,000 rupees more expensive than the Ameo Highline petrol, while the diesel-powered Ciaz ZDI Plus actually works out to be 70,000 rupees cheaper than the manual geared Ameo Highline diesel. Ciaz makes up for its higher price by saving on fuel costs and retaining better residual value than the Ameo. The Ameo Highline diesel automatic works out to be over a lakh rupees cheaper than the Ciaz ZXi Plus petrol automatic in terms of overall ownership costs. Which brings us to the verdict. The Ciaz is the clear winner of this shootout. Especially the Ciaz SHVS diesel is a gem of a car. Buyers considering the Ameo may not even think about the Ciaz, assuming it to be an expensive car, but that will be a huge folly on their part. In the long term, the Ciaz diesel will actually be better on the pocket than the Ameo, as well as its own petrol variant, making it outstanding value for money. It also has a roomier cabin, more comfortable ride quality, and immensely better after-sales service than the Ameo, making it a more practical choice than the Ameo. It is really quite a no-brainer, and therefore, not surprisingly, has been the only car that has been able to finally beat the Honda City in the marketplace in the last decade.